2019. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Strange.
Present.
Councilwoman Brown.
Present.
Councilman Livingston.
Present.
Councilman Taylor.
Present.
Councilman Patrick.
Present.
Councilman Monson.
Present.
President Scanlon.
Present.
Mr. President, that's all 7 here. Okay, next to approval of minutes from August 21st, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ask for unanimous approval for the business meeting minutes for August 21st, 2019. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public word, we can enter the public comment section. You have 5 minutes to speak. Be respectful, state your name, and your address. Please.
John Solak, Binghamton, New York. How are you tonight? Okay, we're going to move along fast and furious. The selling of lots to people for a nominal amount. If you hire a schmo lawyer to do a real estate closing, I mean a real schmo, you're going to pay $500. Probably not going to be done right. Here you sell lots for a nominal fee, but you don't charge them for the legal time. I mean, this goes to recovering your costs. And this is a lot of digging. There's titles and abstracts and everything else. I don't understand it. Next thing you all know about the Child Victims Act, and this city had the school under its wing. I think it was spun off in somewhere between 72, okay. So, if someone was 5 or 8 or 9 years old, they're in the loop for that. So you should dig out your old insurance policies. It's better to have them around. You also had, not that there was anything going on in General Hospital, but you may also fish those out while you're at it, because that was a liability. Now the question is, you fund programs here, and you give money away, and that was done for a long time. The question is, are you in the loop on any of those other problems that you have? Maybe you are. The mayor said he never met this officer. He's never talked to him that filed a human rights complaint, even though he's been here. He predates the mayor. Now, one would assume that a mayor that's been around here almost 7 years would have some time with every police officer. Maybe a half hour in the office. Never talked to this guy. No wonder this guy's mad. You know what I mean? Says he doesn't know, didn't talk to him, So it's a black mark, and I think we should do something about it. Now I'll shut the camera off now that I've had that fun. Let's see. Lights. The period lighting in front of the University Center is not on. Period lights on front of Main. Now I went, and now we'll move to open containers. I record them now. 63 Front Street owes a ton of school tax. Used to be the office of a lawyer, financial planner, Brian Crew. Impeccably maintained. It's right across the street from, essentially, get a corner from the Hoyt Foundation. And they have beer pong. The cups were out there like 2 days later. So every red cup that I see, to me, is an open container violation. I mean, you have to be nuts to think there's Kool-Aid in those cups. And this problem is non-existent until school starts, the university starts. So, I thought these kids were environmentalists. Go to my Twitter page. John from Binghamton, look at the videos. The videos don't lie. I'm not throwing this stuff around. So, what are you going to do about it? You've got these parties being run. They're serving alcohol. You've got a lot of police officers. Nothing is done. And I'm tired of the red cops. I'm tired of policing this. Go to Princeton. Go even to Hamilton. Go to Chapel Hill. See if you see the extent of litter. I mean, if this is what you're running, if you're running, the Commons is not littered like this. I don't know what's going on here. And there's many good kids at the university. I mean, most of the Asians, most of the people from the subcontinent, they won't have anything to do with this kind of activity. Their parents would disown them. Well, we've got these Jersey Shore, this Bridget Tunnel crowd that comes up here, they don't know how to behave themselves. Now, as far as women wearing scantily clad clothes, there's a lot of, where they live now, there's a lot of dead spots across the bridge, all kinds of things. So, I don't know. I would be concerned if I was a parent of these girls because they're dressed for the beach, and you never know what kind of sickos there are out there, and that is a concern to me also. I'll wrap it up. What's wrong with closing the bars a little earlier? I've talked about this at the county. The county's in charge of it. Why is Bruin County have a 3 o'clock closing and all the other counties have earlier closing?
Time's up, sir.
The time's up. Okay. You're not a cardiologist, so I don't care.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about the parking issues. Oh, sorry, Dave Adler, Vessel Ave. So it's great that the Binghamton plan no longer has housing as a component of the new Holly Street parking garage, but to keep the spaces at a minuscule 300 is not a great plan. It is not forward-thinking, especially as downtown continues to attract more people to live, work, and play. We do need more places to park, not fewer spaces. We shouldn't be making that experience a difficult one for the people visiting or living in the city of Binghamton. The city should be looking at to at least replace the 550 spots lost in the College Street ramp, if not expanding on that number. The 2014 plan, when the College Street ramp was still open, was to create College Street Commons and would have had 650 spots. While I think the included housing was unnecessary, the commercial space would have been fine. When the end of life for the College Street ramp seemed to accelerate, a long-planned idea to build at 7 Holly Street was brought up instead, with another mixed-use structure, but 200 fewer parking spaces than existed at that time. The original plan in the 1970s for 7 Holly was for 650 parking spaces on 5 floors with 2 underground, plus 46,600 square feet of commercial space on 1.5 floors. And that size was thanks to including the adjacent drugstore parking lot parcel in the development. And while I don't know why the agreement made with Hamlin Drugstores, now CVS, can't seem to be refreshed, we are truly missing an opportunity to build a right-sized parking structure on the 0.74 acres of 7 Holly Street. The College Street ramp is only 0.8 acres, so not much larger, but a lot more parking spaces were there. It's only a 0.06 acre difference. The 1970 structure would have been on 1.2 acres. The more recent first plan was a $20 million project with 350 parking spaces and up to 10,000 square feet of commercial space. Then it dropped to $12 million for 300 parking spots and 6,000 square feet of commercial space plus the housing. Now we're looking at $10 million for 307 spots or $32,573 per space. The median construction cost for a new parking structure in 2019 is $21,500 per space. So that's over $10,000 per space more than the national median. And the $21,500 is up from $19,037 in 2016 or $19,700 in 2017. And to compare, the Binghamton cost of $32,573. New York City has a median of only $28,398. So we're $4,000 per space more than New York City, which is the highest in the country for the former Carl Walker organization, which is now WGI Parking Solutions. Another comparison is Binghamton, Florida, just opening a 500 space parking garage this month, which will be on top of 11,000 square feet of commercial space, including a 7,500 square foot office for the Manatee County Chamber of Commerce, keeping the chamber downtown in the business center. That cost that city $13.8 million for a lot more parking plus the commercial space. I brought up Glens Falls before, and in 2015 they opened 507 parking space garage and was the third parking structure there in a 5-year period, using $3 million from the consolidated funding application that Binghamton is also using toward the total of $7.7 million cost. And that's only $50,187 per space. So we're well over double that of another New York State city. That one's 5 levels, nothing underground, and again, it's well below the national average cost to build a parking structure in upstate New York. The rendering shown. Thank you. The rendering shown in February 2018 for the 7 Holly Street has 6 levels, so at 300 spaces, that's only 50 spaces per floor. Now that there won't be a commercial or residential portion in that structure, the newly freed up space should be included in the parking structure, not as a street level lot. And another comparison that I like to give is Portland, Maine. I use them a lot because we both have Eastern League Baseball, we both have AHL hockey, although they now have ECHL as of 2018. And their county population and physical size is similar to that of the Broome Tioga MSA. Since we can't always look at the city size by square miles, since there's 69 square miles to our 11-ish. And so if we combine Binghamton, Union, and Dickinson together, it's still 17 square miles fewer than the Portland metro area, or the city of Portland, Oregon, or Portland, Maine. But now there's almost 108,000 people in our area versus Portland, 66,000.
Sorry to see that. Hope you're doing well. Target Dellison, Southside. So I think it was a couple months ago, there was a woman down here, I think from the Abel Bennett Historic District, a homeowner who was talking about how one property was going to be turned into a rooming house, and she was very frustrated and wanted to know what could be done. And Sharon, I remember you gave some very astute advice, saying that there's a request for legislation form on the city website, and that is a way for constituents to submit ideas, legislative suggestions to the council for consideration. And so I thought about that and did a little more research, and then I submitted a couple of requests for legislation last week. I didn't even receive a courtesy response from the clerk's office until I followed up today. And was told that it was passed along and that I needed to speak to President Scanlon because it wasn't on this past work session. So I'm just hoping that I can make it to the next work session. Or if you have any concerns, I asked him maybe to connect us via email so we can have that conversation. The two requests for legislation, one is Financial Ethics Disclosure Act for Binghamton officials. Basically, all elected officials and mayoral appointees must complete and submit annually financial disclosure forms. It's basically to uphold the highest ethical standards of local government and improve transparency, accountability, and the public's trust in local decision makers. I included in that RL the form that Broome County requires of all of its appointees and board members, which are then reviewed by the Broome County Ethics Board, which GO is one of the 3 members of. So there's a system in place. There's a high commitment to transparency and accountability across the courtyard, and I hope that the council embraces that legislation, if not at least the decency of the conversation about that legislation. The second one is a resolution to restore integrity and enhance transparency to the property assessment process. basically requiring the city assessor to prepare a very readable and accessible report every year detailing all of the privately owned properties that received a reduction in assessment in the prior year, and it should indicate which process that was made by the independent review, Board of Assessment Review, or stipulation. As you know, both of these came from concerns and many other, that I had and many others had, that the mayor received a 27% decrease in his property assessment on his downtown property through an informal review that was conducted by the city assessor a year before he's going to be reappointed for another 6-year term. I don't think anybody who's in the real estate market in this city or this region would argue that the values of our downtown properties are going down. But yet, the mayor received a very sweetheart deal, and I was reminded of how wonderful that must have been, given I just received my school tax bill, as many of you probably did these last couple of days. I'd love a 27% reduction in my property assessment. But it's also important because the assessor is up for review. He's going to be appointed probably by the mayor again at the end of this month with no council approval. And the reality is I think he has not done a well job. That's from my prior experience and since. For years he had been saying he was going to follow through on a citywide assessment, reevaluation. It's desperately needed. You have elderly homeowners in your district, and your district that are paying more property taxes than single-family, two-family homes that have been converted into 8-bedroom student rentals that bring in $30,000 a year. Homeowners in this city are subsidizing downtown developers and landlords of student properties. And the assessor is the only one who can fix that. The only thing he's fixing is the mayor's assessment record.
Thank you. Anybody else with? This phone?
Oh, thanks. 5 minutes, all right?
You still get 5 minutes.
All right.
Adam Lefevre, 129 Bates Road, Harpersville, New York.
Take a motion to suspend the rules. Second. Go ahead.
All right. I work at the Binghamton Johnson City Joint Sewage Treatment Plant. Again, I'm here to talk about construction. First of all, yesterday at the work session, it was discussed that digesters 1 and 2 had a big test performed by the plant. I've been there for 11 years. The digesters were running when I started there, and they became offline in 2011 when the flood happened. And to my knowledge, there's never been a big test done to them at all. So I don't know where that information came from. The BAF, we had to get that running to meet the deadline for the August 31st. I've been down here for months and months telling you guys how construction has been rushed, and once again, it's happened. The primary pump room for primary tanks 7 through 10, they had to be filled up in order to get flow over to the BAF. As they were filling those, 4 to 5 feet of water got dumped into the basement, destroying five motors, a whole bunch of wiring, and a couple of electrical cabinets. Now those have since been repaired. The 5 motors were shipped overnight. They were replaced, all the wiring was replaced, so luckily that wasn't a huge setback. It put us back about 1 day. In an email that I just sent to all you guys at the beginning of the meeting, you will find the video of when the BAF first got flow. And you'll see the cascades of water coming from every nook and cranny of that building. Once again, this is being rushed. They're not checking things out, they're not looking things over, they're just hurrying up trying to meet deadlines. I have been told, I was told actually just a couple hours ago when I was preparing for this meeting, that a team is coming in tomorrow to stop the flow to the BAF, and they're going to assess the structural issues that could possibly be there that's causing all these leaks. So hopefully they can find something tomorrow. And we're currently running it through the BAF at a limited flow. We're only allowed to run 12.8 MGD through there, and we currently process 35 MGD through the entire plant. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about, what we've discussed for the past couple of months, is the hydrogen sulfide. That has continued to be an issue. I know you guys don't like us putting stuff on Facebook, but a plant staff member put a video on Facebook that was showing his meter going off at 35 plus parts per million. Mind you, we're allowed to work in 10 parts per million for 15 minutes according to OSHA. That video was put online. Luckily, it got the attention of a Department of Labor employee who stopped down the very next day. And ironically, the air system in that building was also corrected that same day. So we've talked about it for several months. I know you guys don't like us using Facebook, but so far that seems to be our best option to get things corrected down there. I know I've talked to you guys about hydrogen sulfide before and how dangerous it is. And like I said, at 10 parts per million, you're able to work at it for 15 minutes. At 100 parts per million, it's immediately dangerous to life and immediately dangerous to life and health. And that's all I got for today. Those are this week's construction updates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Edwards, 13 Clarendon Drive. I just have one question, I think, and it's about the bid. It was supposed to be out the 27th, or the winning bid. I was wondering if that got pushed back, or I don't know what happened with that bid. I think Mr. Pavistrat,
I think some point this month, I think, see something.
so you guys only have one more meeting after, one more public meeting after this one before the actual deadline, right? Because it's supposed to go into effect October 1st if they win the bid. So we're just going to push it through is what?
It's not going to get pushed.
Well, it's kind of amazing how it's dragging until the last meeting. Is the chance, it's the last chance basically before October 1st when they're supposed to take over, if they're going to take over. So besides that, obviously we've been training on everything down there that's going online every day pretty much. The stress level is crazy with all the new stuff we're trying to learn. We're pumping things to places that aren't supposed to be pumped and turn around, have to pump them back out because we're trying to rush everything. So you can imagine how stressful this could be. And then on top of that, we have to deal with the private partnership, public partnership, whatever it's called. On top of that, I just learned today that we just had somebody put in a notice to quit because of the uncertainty of what's going on. We would love some information, anybody, of anything, of what's happening. I believe our new interim superintendent also put his papers in to retire because of this situation. We are down, so that's 8 people plus him, and we're down 9 people. It's not getting any better. Nobody's going to want to work there because we don't know what's going on. I don't know how much plainer I can make it. Just give us some information, what's going on. Is it going through? Is it not? I mean, I heard a lot of new council people say, oh no, it's not going, it's not going. Well, just do it then, get rid of it. Shoot it down, let's move on, let us do our job. Take the stress out of it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Hi, Howard Reeve, Conklin, your facilities engineer at the wastewater plant. I'll be brief. Civil service is independent of government. It's comprised of professionals hired on merit rather than being appointed or elected. In most cases, positions are filled through competitive exams. This means that not only would an individual need to meet all the requirements for the position, but they have to prove that they are among the most qualified for the position. And in the case of the wastewater plant, every single operator on site is a tested civil servant, and every single salaried employee is a tested civil servant, meaning that the plant is comprised of the most capable individuals in the Triple Cities. And this may not always have been the case, but there have been many changes since the days of Oregon. And I hesitate to mention the former superintendent's name, but with the talk about poor management, it feels like an impossible shadow to move out from behind. So yes, things were not always done above board. There was little accountability at the plant, and as an asset to the community, the plant suffered. But those days are long gone. The superintendent reports to a board who's chosen by both mayors. There's now a business manager who keeps the books. And whereas the superintendent used to be the only license holder, everyone has one now, meaning they're all accountable for their own actions and their own decisions. So civil servants' first priority is to represent the interests of citizens. And a corporation's first priority is to represent the interests of shareholders. So just one entity cannot represent both. And I just ask you to think about that as we move towards this privatization. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak, please come forward. Seeing none, move on. On the introductory ordinance 19-90, considered planning, Councilman Monson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand and ask for unanimous consideration on introductory ordinance 1990. Second, an ordinance authorizing the sale of 86 Pine Street to Fairview Recovery Services, Inc. That's what I'm doing right now. And we are going through seeker. I need a motion to declare City Council as lead agency under seeker. Second. Make a motion. Voice vote.
Voice vote, yes. What do you say?
Aye. Aye. A motion to identify the purpose action as an unlisted under secret. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. A motion to issue a negative declaration under secret for the following reason. The purpose purchased is Fairview Recovery Services, Inc., which operates an addiction crisis center, provides room and board and supplementary services at 247 Court Street. The property at 86 Pine Street is adjacent to 247 Court Street and will be used for green space in conjunction with the crisis center. This will create space for residents and employees. Can I get a motion, please? Second. Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman Scringett?
Aye.
Councilman Livingston?
Aye.
Councilman Kranz?
Aye.
Councilman Taylor?
Aye.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Monson?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Yes.
Step forward for a moment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. The Lumos 2 days ago put away, and I have a lot of things that I need to fix so the show can happen. So I need to head out. I have reviewed all of the pieces of legislation, and I will certainly watch the entire meeting back in its entirety once the festival is over video, but I do need to go. But thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now I stand for ordinance 19-90. Second. An ordinance authorizing the sale of 86 Pine Street to Fairview Recovery Services. And all the cases, thank you.
Questions or comments on this?
Call the question.
Question or comment? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scringett?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor is absent. Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
We have to introductory ordinance 19-91, considered planning, Councilman Mazza.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand and ask for unanimous consideration on ordinance 1991, an ordinance authorizing the sale of 4 Amesbury Street to Matthew J. Healy. And I'd like to make a motion to declare City Council as lead agency under secret. Second. Voice vote.
Voice vote, please. All in favor?
Aye. A motion to identify the purpose action as unlisted under secret. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. A motion to issue a negative declaration under secret for the following reasons. This is a vacant lot. Mr. Ely owns adjacent property. The property is to be transferred, must be maintained, may only be used as a garden and a small driveway. Shed and small gazebo, as may be approved by planning department. The property must be merged with Mr. Ely's adjacent property at 6 Amesbury Street. Second.
Councilman Scranton. Aye. Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor. He is, sorry. Yeah. Councilman Papstra.
Still absent.
Councilman Papstra.
Say aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
Okay, now I stand and ask for unanimous consideration on ordinance 1991. Second. An ordinance authorizing the sale of 4 Amesbury Street to Matthew J. Healy. We can all read it.
Questions or comments?
Call the question, Mr. President.
Question to call? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scranton.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor is absent. Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon. That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
Introductory ordinance 19-92, considered finance, Councilman Papstra.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-92.
Second.
It's an ordinance to amend the 2019 refuse fund budget to fund new long block motors for 2 garage trucks, garbage trucks.
Questions or comments?
Call the question.
Councilman Scranton.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
Introductory ordinance 19-93, considered in finance, Councilman Papstra.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-93.
Second.
This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 signals combined shops budget to fund installation of pedestrian audible signals at the intersection of Court Street and Water Street.
Questions or comments on this?
Call the question.
Question to call?
Councilman Scranton.
Aye.
Councilman Livingston.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
Introductory ordinance 19-94, considered finance, Councilman Papstra.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-94. This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 sewer budget to defund a wastewater pump maintainer and defund a laborer position.
Questions or comments?
Call the question.
Call? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scranton.
Aye.
Councilman Livingston.
Aye.
Councilman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Taylor.
Introductory ordinance 19-95, considered finance, Councilman Papstra.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-95.
Second.
This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 Parks Department budget to fund improvements to the 4th Ward softball field.
Questions or comments?
Call the question.
Councilman Scranton.
Aye.
Councilman Livingston.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kranz.
Aye.
Councilman Papstra.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 absent. Tabled.
Introductory ordinance 19-96, consider finance, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. As for unanimous consideration, consider ordinance 19-96.
Second.
This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 city clerk and animal control budget to allow the city's dog control officer to attend a one-day camp. Questions or comments on this?
Call the question.
Call.
Councilman Sturgeon?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
Councilman Scanlon?
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Tabled.
Introductory ordinance 19-97, consider finance, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-97.
Second.
This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 capital budget to accept the Federal Highway Administration Award and create a new budget line for the Tyler Road improvements project. Questions or comments on this? Councilman Screen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I hope everyone will obviously support this. This is a actual 100% grant from the FHA for almost $49,000. And I know this will expedite the projects going out on Tyler Road, and I know all the residents will be very supportive of it. Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Call the question.
Question to call?
Councilman Sturgeon?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Introductory ordinance 19-98, consider finance, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-98.
Second.
This is an ordinance to amend the 2019 water fund budget to increase the wastewater processing fee for increased expenses. Questions or comments?
Call the question.
Call the roll.
Councilman Sturgeon?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Are we out of order?
No, we don't have a second.
Who seconded that? Again,
Thank you.
Councilwoman.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 absent. Tabled.
Introductory ordinance 19-99, consider finance, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-99.
Second.
This is an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a donation from the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation to support parks and recreation programs. Questions or comments? Councilman Screen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things. Again, thanking Dick's Sporting Goods for this $10,000 donation. It's really big, and I want to thank them publicly for that. And also on the immediate past legislation that passed, increase in the processing fee for our residents that might be here or at home, because I know the verbiage kind of technical. That's not an increase in water rates that you pay. That is just a transfer from one budget line to another to cover the cost of an internal fee. So that doesn't affect water rates. Thank you, Mr. President.
Are there questions or comments on 19-99?
Call the question.
Question to call?
Councilman Sturgeon?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Tabled.
Introductory ordinance 19-100, consider finance, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for unanimous consideration of ordinance 19-100.
Second.
This is an ordinance authorizing acceptance of a donation from the Giants Foundation to support Binghamton youth football. Questions or comments? Councilman Screen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, thank you to the New York Giants. This is actually another $10,000 grant that the city is receiving for its youth program.
Other questions or comments?
Call the question.
Question to call?
Councilman Sturgeon?
Aye.
Councilman Lewis?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Aye.
Councilman Patrick?
Aye.
Councilman Mazza?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent. Tabled.
Introductory ordinance 19-74, considered finance, Councilman Patrick. Mr. President, as for unanimous consideration of resolution 19-74.
Second.
This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a one-year extension with R1 Emergency Medical Services to provide ambulance billing and services. Questions or comments?
Councilman Scrooge.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilman LaFrance.
Aye.
Councilman Patrick.
Aye.
Councilman Monson.
Aye.
President Scammell.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Introductory ordinance, introductory resolution 19-75, considered finance, considered employees, Councilman Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I ask for unanimous consideration of resolution 19-75.
Second.
This is a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Binghamton and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 317 Supervisors Unit for the 2019 through 2020. Questions or comments on this?
Call the question.
Question called?
Councilman Scrooge.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilman LaFrance.
Aye.
Councilman Patrick.
Aye.
Councilman Monson.
Aye.
President Scammell.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Introductory resolution 19-76, considered in finance, Councilman Patrick. It's a long time.
Councilman Papas the public record is reviewing the actual contract for the supervisors that was attached, reviewed by council.
Where are we on this?
19-76.
1976, okay. Thank you, Mr. President. As for unanimous consideration of resolution 19-76.
Second.
This is a resolution to accept a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Initiative, which is to give for $224,888. Questions or comments?
Call the question.
Councilman Scrooge.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilman LaFrance.
Aye.
Councilman Patrick.
Aye.
Councilman Monson.
Aye.
President Scammell.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes, 1 absent.
Introductory resolution 19-77, considered public works parks, Councilman Scrooge.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand and ask for unanimous consideration for introductory resolution R19-77. Second. Resolution adopting the 2019 Broome County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. The purpose of this is for the City of Binghamton to adopt a county hazard mitigation plan, which is correlated with Public Law 106-390, the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. And it establishes requirements for pre and post disaster mitigation programs. Thank you.
Questions or comments on this?
Call the question.
Question called?
Councilman Scrooge.
Aye.
Councilman Lewis.
Aye.
Councilman LaFrance.
Aye.
Councilman Bailey. It's absent. Councilman Patrick.
Aye.
Councilman Monson.
Aye.
President Scammell.
Aye.
That's 6 ayes with 1 absent.
Now on to communications from the council members. We'll start with Councilman Monzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks everyone again for coming. Mr. Fifi, you said they fixed the air supply? Yes, it was only a couple days ago, so we're hoping. What did they actually do? I'm just curious. I guess it was commissioned. I don't know. I wasn't on the roof when they turned it on. I don't know what was the holdup. I know there was a barn fan in the door blowing in, and we were estimating that out at the end of the day today, so maybe something.
So now they can close the door and it's working supposedly?
So that was earlier in the day, and then just before I left work, we were asked to keep that door open with the fan blowing in. So I don't know if they're having issues with what they turned on or what. I didn't get any details on why. But we're hoping that the levels are getting lower. They're not as bad as they were. I was actually in that room earlier today. My meter didn't go off. I was still getting readings, but at 5 parts per million, our meters go off, and that didn't
for the update on that. I mean, I had concerns over that to begin with. I also want to thank the DPW out there. They have been patching holes in the roads. They're doing a phenomenal job on really repairing potholes and things like that. I really want to thank everybody there down there at the DPW and East St. Clair for keeping up on this. They're out there working hard. Yeah, I want to say good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Story.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few things. Wanted to remind First District residents during the months of July and August, first working with watch is off in the summer. So now that school is actually kicking back in again, can't believe that the summer is already over. So they'll be meeting again third Wednesday, forgive me, of every month at St. Michael's Church on Clinton Street in the downstairs lobby at 6 p.m. I just want to thank the DPW. They've been out there patching a lot of roads. I also want to thank all of our DPW and Parks employees. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but there has been a very, very large increase just over the last month, I even want to say, with regard to restriping of roads, restriping of ladder crosswalks, particularly as school season is getting underway. And I know they've actually done a lot of work in the First District on Grand Boulevard and the surrounding areas, particularly cross intersections both on Grand as well as on Main Street. So I want to thank them for that. Want to wish everybody K through 12 a very good luck here, both public school, private school, home school, however you're moving forward. Your education, school is starting up again this week, and I want to wish all our students, our teachers' aides, our administrators, and everyone that works at our schools, and a special shout out to Woodrow Wilson Elementary in First District. I want to thank Paul and Pat, the department head and deputy department head of the Parks Department, for being with me earlier this week regarding issues behind Franklin Street and nestled actually in between Franklin and Prospect. There has been a little bit of a back and forth, understandably so, between the Phase 1 and Phase 2 construction. As Phase 1 is completed, Phase 2 will, as it's coming near its completion, regarding a certain patch of land and responsibility to get in there, making sure that trees are cut back, shrubbery, vegetation, and I want to thank the homeowners over on Franklin. I can let you guys know that our actual department head in the Parks Department, as well as one of our street supervisors, is actually going to be heading over there tomorrow morning to begin looking at plans to include that in their rotation for upkeep. And I want to thank all the homeowners and residents over in that part of the ward for helping to communicate that and being so patient. And lastly, I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank God for a little bit as I begin my active duty military leave with the Air Force. I want to thank the clerk's office. I want to thank our city clerk and our deputy city clerk for the immense amount of hours that they have assisted me directly in as it relates to just preparation and logistics. Not going anywhere, still going to be very hands-on as I always am. We'll have my phone, we'll have email, we'll be in constant communication with our council president, with our city clerk's office, the mayor when necessary. So a lot of projects going on in the First District. Glad to see roads that got done, Cypress and Murphy, and another number of others that are going to be coming up. I also want to thank the Parks Department for the incredible amount of hours and planning that went into projects that have already occurred as well as are occurring over the rest of the summer for Valley Street Park, First Ward Park, and very excited for the upcoming opportunity. Still will very much be here and be in contact in the flow of things. And I want to thank everyone for their kind words and their support. And that is it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things. First of all, in case you weren't aware of why downtown Binghamton is kind of shut down, Bloom is happening this weekend. So once it gets dark, it starts. A couple of events coming up here. There's a suicide awareness breakfast on Tuesday, September 10th at 8 a.m. at Binghamton Club. The annual India Day celebration. This is a little bit outside of my lane, it's on the Vestal. The annual India Day celebration at the Indian Cultural Center on 1595 State Route 26 happens from noon to 5. It's actually, when I ran for county clerk in 2017, this was my favorite event. It had the best food, the best dancing. It's just an amazing event. And actually last year, the food was even better. They attracted another food vendor from up in Syracuse. So it's just phenomenal. If you've never been, take a chance. I also just wanted to thank the plant staff for coming out again tonight. I know that I've gotten some gentle and not so gentle jabs from folks about posting stuff on Facebook, and I did post a video of the hydrogen sulfide meter going off. One of the plant staff shared it with me, and I guess I just want to say that if there is a better formal process to get the goods on getting these issues resolved, I think I and the plant staff are all open to hearing it. I brought it up at open city council meetings and didn't seem to get the goods, and then posted a video, Department of Labor showed up, and it got resolved, supposedly. I think that if we're trying to have a more formal process that's effective, then we need to, get those kind of results. These kind of results that we get through posting it on Facebook, we need to get it through our own process here on the city council. And also, I just wanted to echo what one of the plant staff said. I too am really interested to know, where this process is at. It started out that it was supposed to be August 14th. We were supposed to get a contract from this bid selection committee. Then it was August 27th, and now we're just late on that. The deadline that he referenced was October 1st. It's the deadline in the RFP for the new contract manager to take control of our facility. I would be interested to know, when this contract comes out, if that date is being pushed, or as they were concerned about, if that date is going to remain in place and we're just going to be up against it. We're going to get a contract and then it's going to be go, go, go. Got to get this in place if we're going to meet this deadline. Always interested in having access to better, more timely information. I'm really interested to see, what comes of this process. And with that, have a wonderful weekend, folks.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Grimes.
Up here. Why don't you?
Thank you. As for the Front Street, 63 Front Street, I have had calls concerning the student housing. Really welcome the students when they come back, but they like to be loud and act like kids. I don't know if you're So I am on the Binghamton Town Down Board, which is between Binghamton University and Binghamton, the city of Binghamton. I'm on the student housing subcommittee, and I work with the fraternity housing director. So he's definitely going to be hearing from me, and we'll see if we can sit down and get a plan set up. We've been able to resolve other issues in the past. It is lengthy because it involves speaking with the students, speaking with the landlords, working with the police, working with code enforcement, working with the neighbors. It takes 6 months to a year to take care of these issues sometimes, because it's not easy cut and paste. This is real life with real people. So I'm really working on that, and I'll let you know as we move forward. With that, have a good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Pepsi. Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to comment on Councilman Scaringi going on to serve the country as a civil air, and commend him for that. By the time he gets back, I'll be off council, so I just want to say I've enjoyed working with him. He's been a real asset to the first board, and I want to add my name to, if you need any assistance over there while you're gone, any meetings that you want me to attend, I would be more than glad to help. I had some conversation with one of the wastewater plant employees earlier before the council started. I was very happy to be able to do that. It seems like we're too disengaged all the time with what's going on. It leaves a lot of room in the middle for misinformation and for politicizing what should be a bipartisan effort to try to make this a real workable solution for everyone. And I understand that the employees are on edge all the time because they want to know what kind of job they're going to have, if they're going to have a job. No one wants to, when you've got kids in college, car payments, mortgage payments, nobody wants to feel like they can't go to bed at night feeling that, they're somewhat secure, waking up the next day, they're going to have a job. And we want to work with everyone when it comes to this. The only I call it a frustration that I have, and I hate to name anyone in particular. The person on my right may not be him. And it seems like from the time that we started the new council in January, that the wastewater treatment plant has been really politicized. And when you talk about posting on Facebook, this is a post that someone sent me. In the middle paragraph of the post says, fortunately, the city council members who choose not to represent the best interest of the ratepayers can be replaced in this year's elections. There are a number of candidates who have spoken openly and articulately on this matter, and a number who have not. If this is an important issue for folks, most city council districts have a Democratic candidate who has been clear on the matter. All of the Republican candidates are following the lead of the Republican council members of the mayor by providing us with a little more than silence. Well, what got me is we choose not to represent the best interest of the ratepayer. And every one of us here is a homeowner, a taxpayer, a ratepayer. So if we're representing the ratepayers, we're representing ourselves. And I don't know, are you a ratepayer? All right, you have a home? I don't know what I don't understand why you want to politicize something that is so important to the city. I want to work with every council person. I want to work with the employees of the wastewater management plant and come up with the best solution that we can for everyone involved. And we're not going to do that by throwing jabs and non-truths and accusing people of not having the best interest. If anyone has, the fact that I'm offended because of my 12 years on city council, I've never been accused of not having the best interest of the taxpayers of this city. I've been here most of my life. Business, family, home. And when I leave here January 1st, I will still be a resident, ratepayer, taxpayer in the city. Thank you.
Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.